after receiving the invitation from Maria and Anna and reading about the project, I saw that probably what I can sort of share with you is some sort of invitation to think how we actually understand infrastructure if we are set to sort of reinterpret infrastructure and architecture from the colonial or queer perspective. So how we actually, what we understand when we say infrastructure, what is it? Is it something that is absolutely external to us? Is it alien? Is it, should we approach it in strictly utilitarian terms as something that should be convenient and ergonomic? Or is it something more than that? And I mean, I don't think that we understand that infrastructure is probably much more than what we are used to, or the way we are used to perceive it. Because even right now, for example, I mean, I never quit being amazed at things like, our ability to connect through time and space right now in Zoom. I mean, I remember when we were using Skype. I don't know if anyone else remembers, like 20 years ago, this Skype had this very interesting feature back then. It showed how many people are online simultaneously. And that would show, like, I don't know, million people, hundreds of thousands of people being on the platform, on the app simultaneously. It always gave me a very, very specific feeling of connectivity. And I mean, that's not just convenient. That's something that shapes our ways of living and understanding. And it enables us as human beings in a very particular way. But there is something that enables us. There is also something that disables us at the same time. And I think that's very important to kind of keep that in mind. But I will not bore you just with me talking. I have also pictures for you to show. So let me share the screen. Do you see it? Yeah. So first, let me show you two images. So this is the first image. And this is the second image. Oops. So on both images, we see two men looking in the sky. And I don't know. Do you have any guesses maybe what they're looking at? Like, look, yeah, what they're looking at, what these men looks at.
Nuclear clouds.
Nuclear cloud. No guesses? Okay, I will not torture you with that. I will tell you. Is wrong. So this man on this photo, his name is Kenneth Arnold. He was the private pilot who reportedly was the first one who in June 1947 in Idaho saw, in Illinois, I don't know where it was exactly. Yeah, so an unidentified flying object, and he was the one who gave it a name, a flying saucer. I don't know if you still remember that, saying flying saucers. Nobody calls them that anymore. It's called UFO. So it was 1947, which created this whole sort of frenzy that still continues about an obsession in mass culture and, kind of aspects of UFOs, aliens, flying objects. And showing you some outcomes of that in mass cultural production. And maybe by that by now you think I am crazy. Why I'm talking to you about UFOs? But I will give you a little bit of background for that. Last month, I actually happened to attend a very interesting conference that took place in the Rice University in Houston, which was called Archives of the Impossible. And it was organized by Religious Studies Department and was particularly focused on understanding what they called the impossible, but that includes phenomena like UFO. And of course, I mean, I don't know, we might, our first sort of reaction to that from a, I don't know, scientific or rational perspective might be very dismissive. But what they were trying to do is trying to understand why this phenomenon exists. There's a cultural phenomenon. What brings people into these stories, even in their case with some sort of twist and sort of, you know, trying to understand the materiality of this, the physics of that. But the thing is that people have reported seeing some sort of celestial phenomena or something that we would, what they called sources long ago. So these are the image that was created after, again, allegedly witnessing some sort of unexplained celestial phenomena in Nuremberg in 1556, if I'm not mistaken. And a similar thing happened not far from there and not distant in time in Basel. So there is a certain cultural, let's say, trend of looking into the sky and seeing something that we cannot explain and dealing with that in different ways. So at this conference, there was also a presentation, or actually a keynote speech by Stephen Findlay, who explored the relationship with this whole sort of imagery and narratives of flying objects or UFO in Black American tradition, and in particular in the sort of cosmology of the nation of Islam. And the interpretation that he gave is actually very different from what we are normally accustomed to by seeing this as some sort of violent attack of aliens, an abduction, but rather as what they called in, or Elijah Muhammad described as the mother plane or mother wheel or mother ship. Something that connects the community, the Black people on the earth, with the cosmic sort of being or cosmic nature, and something that promises an escape, promises a salvation that should come from outside the force. So we either look at it as some sort of, yes, as I said, alien violation or alien attack, or as a form of refuge. And I mean, I don't need probably to mention a lot of or multiple sort of cases in mass culture where this narrative is being exercised. Oops. But let's look. Why it's skipping? Let's get to this photo. To this man. That was taken approximately the same time, maybe a little bit later. What do you think this man is looking at? What he tries to identify in the sky?
Maybe something related to the first rocket launch or something like that.
First what, sorry?
Rocket launch, Soviet space program, I don't know.
Well, kind of close, but at the same time, much more.
Of course.
This man, and indeed, he's a Soviet man, he looks at the first person, looked at the flying saucers in the sky. This man looks at the flying panels of prefabricated mass construction in the Soviet Union. And on the first hand, we might say, on the first side, sorry, we might say there is no connection between these two. But there is. So, yeah, I'm just showing, I will show you this, it's some images of these flying structures in the sky, that we are somehow, or at least not all, but those who come from the post-Soviet space or socialist bloc, or even Northern Europe, like Sweden, all familiar with that. Actually, these are the some of these images are from the exhibition that took place in Sweden called Flying Panels, about the prefabricated mass construction in the mid-20th century. So I'm juxtaposing these images of flying sources that circulated in, I mean, I picked it from the US context, but more broadly in the Western context, capitalist context, with different flying objects that circulated and that attracted attention of people in the socialist bloc, in the Soviet Union. In 2015, I think we did work on a kind of explored this in detail in the case of Bishkek and the project called Bishkek Utopian, where we also, sorry, I think yeah, I think I lost some of the images for some reason in here, but it's okay. Where we explored the same connection between construction and of mass housing in the Soviet city of Bishkek, with, that's another image, and this is part of that project, the materials of so-called Kalantai commune, that queer communist dissidents in France who dreamed about escaping to the space. But their sort of aspiration for the space was somehow connected with the realities of concrete utopia, concrete sort of process of turning the dream into reality within the socialist reality. And part of that project and the book that I showed the cover of was to connect something that is very, very mundane, very, very basic, such as, prefabricated 5-storied houses with the utopian visions from the early Soviet avant-garde. This is a very famous project by Georgy Mamedov in the late 1920s, Flying Cities. Something that somehow was, in a way, a very strange, very radical inspiration for something that turned out to be very, very mundane and spread. So this is how he imagined that people would be transported in these sort of flying gondolas from Earth to that flying cities in the sky. And this is an actual architecture. But I just want to stress the importance here that's not an art project. That was an architectural thesis that was defended with questions and debate. But something that in the late 1920s, in the wake of the Cultural Revolution in the Soviet Union, was considered a legit architectural project, a legit way of thinking and imagining. Not just a mere fantasy or paper architecture or utopianism. And of course, I mean, this whole obsession with space, as we see, has two different twists between what we see in the, I mean, I say broadly West, but let's say in capitalist countries of the mid-20th century, and a very different very proximate, very concrete approach to that we see in the socialist bloc. Yeah, the space is not alien. The dreams of the sky, of flying, of overcoming gravity, are neither violent and alien, nor is it a future escape, but rather something that can be tamed, can be approximated, can be achieved by earthly human beings. And then it results, well, it didn't result in flying cities, but it resulted in all kind of sort of exercise of bringing that closer, of not imagining or being scared, but making it something tangible and concrete on Earth. So this is this is a kind of experimental house in Dombai, in the Caucasus, that was built by a Finnish architect and was presented to the Soviet Union by the Finnish president who visited the Caucasus in, I think it was 1960s, 1970s, or something like that. This huge flying saucers or spaceships that just, happened to land in the middle of the city. This is a concert hall in Dushanbe, Tajikistan, the city where I'm originally from. Construction, I think, in the 1970s, or something like that. That's a historical museum in the city of Osh in Kyrgyzstan, where I live now. That is done inside the Rocky Mountain, inside the mountain Alato. But I don't know if that work is recognizable, but this is the work by late Ilya Kabakov, which is called The Man Who Flew into the Space, which somehow shows to us a kind of a different perspective on all that obsession with space. On one hand, we see, which I did try to sort of juxtapose these two imageries of flying saucers and of actually sort of building and creating these sources and this flying object in actual reality. But at the same time, despite the striking difference between these imageries, there are also some striking similarities in these two imageries, and I think this work somehow gives a comment to that. So the work shows a room of a very typical sort of petite or little Soviet man, probably bombarded and suppressed by propaganda, as we can see in all these posters, and misery of everyday kind of Soviet life that prompts him to launch himself into the space out of that point. And I would not necessarily sort of share the pathos of this work of Kabakov, and actually that project about this Kalantai commune was in a way that we did in 2015. It was in a way in a dialogue with this, because we showed that people could launch themselves into space out of different circumstances. While they might have experienced misery and oppression on Earth, but and saw the space as escape, but they did it not because they were suppressed or limited by the communist or socialist ideology, but actually because they only felt that it's only in the space where the true communism is possible. But nevertheless, this work talks about, as well as other works of Kabakov and maybe other non-conformist or underground Soviet artists of the like 1970s, 1980s, of a certain alienation of socialist subjects from supposedly something that had to emancipate them, empower them, and enable them, enable them even as cosmic beings. And I think that's where I actually want to focus more on unpacking our understanding on infrastructure. Because I think what brings together these imageries from so-called capitalist West or socialist East is a similar shared attitude towards the outer world, outer of a human body. Something that is external, something that is alien, something with which you have to establish relations of subjugation. Yes, there is a striking difference between them. So in one cases, it is the human who is subjugated to something that is bigger than them. Aliens, space, universe, they're scared or they hope for escape. Or in sort of socialist, modernist thinking, it is the nature and the outer world and an infrastructure that must be subjugated to a human will and a human power to the extent that it can be transformed. And this is, I think, here we have the connection with all these, nuclear experiments and bombs and space exploration, and somehow both of them fail. Both of them fail. And I think that if we are at the point when we try to think, at the historical point where we try to turn the colonial thought into political practice, I think it's important why the previous projects and the previous attempts of emancipation, even if they were not direct failures in a way that they did have outcomes and results, but somehow these results and the outcomes are still unsatisfactory. So the question is, what was the problem? And I think that's part of the political practice and thinking practice of any emancipatory movement or project or attempt is to understand what caused the failures in the past and how we can avoid them. Because there is no point of repeating something that proves to be inefficient. And I think that sometimes, or very often, we should actually look for the answers from within those projects. And here I come to, and this is how I understand, for example, sort of the colonial approach in the post-Soviet space. Part of it is to decolonize the socialist project. To decolonize, meaning try to understand its emancipatory potential and try to see where that potential was realized and where it failed. And very often the source for that understanding comes from understanding or dealing with the critiques of the project, with critiques of the project who lived and experienced it. And one of them was this man on the photo, Soviet philosopher Evald Ilyenkov. And this photo, he's with his student, deaf and blind student of the psychology department at the Moscow State University, who later would become a professor of psychology. Alexander Suvorov. So Ilyenkov, what I should say, even though there is sort of a revival moment for his legacy right now, his works are being sort of republished en masse even. Well, not en masse, but for the philosopher, yes, some sort of en masse. And they've been translated into English. So there is a certain interest to his work and legacy. And he kind of occupies a very strange position. Sometimes liberal thought tries to present him as a dissident. He wasn't a dissident in the way we understand dissidents as anti-communist or anti-socialist. He was communist all his life. He was included into the sort of Soviet philosophical infrastructures, but he definitely was some sort of outcast in that, in sort of the mainstream Soviet life. But nevertheless, he remained a committed Marxist and developed a very radical Marxist theory. Well, Marxist theory of body, I would say, even though the scope of his sort of thought was broader, he tried to respond to the main challenge that he felt and saw that was present of the real existing socialism, and that's the problem of alienation. Basically, as many Soviet people who were communists or Marxists, they were questioning why we're still unhappy. If I put it very simply. There was a revolution. There was a seizure of power by the proletariat. There is no private property over the means of production. There is a probably decently functioning social welfare state. There are a lot of achievements, including the man in the space and, all that things. Why we are not happy? What makes us unhappy? I put it in a very simple language, because I think that's actually the main motive of any political emancipatory projects. We want to be happy. Very basic. Very simple. And we understand that there is something in the environment that surrounds us that prevents us from that happiness. And in Marxist terms, what makes us unhappy is alienation. So why Soviet socialism was not capable of overcoming alienation? So that was, in simple words, something that Ilyenkov was concerned with. And he tried to give a Marxist answer to that question. And the question was that, well, in the very human being, there is an aspect of alienation between us and ourselves and the world around us, including other people. So there is this constant tension between us and the other, something that we experience and we have no means to overcome. Or sometimes when we try to overcome that, it ends up badly. Very often in violent acts that we want to overcome this alienation, and the violent acts that can be on a mass scale, or just, sometimes obsessive love, when we want, to dissolve in another person, when we want to become one with someone else, and then we face natural boundaries of another person. But so Ilyenkov attempts a very interesting exercise that probably has never been attempted by anyone else in the 20th century Marxism or neo-Marxism. Here he reads Marx through Spinoza, which was done by others like Deleuze, for example, but without dismissing Hegel or Hegelian dialectics. So he preserves the dialectics of Hegel and monism of Spinoza. And the Spinozian thought that basically thinking body is a mode, an expression of the universe, or the universe as a substance. I'm a little bit simplifying, but the idea is that there is actually no ontological difference between us and anything that surrounds us, be it natural, man-made. We are made of the same matter. The fact that we possess what we can call consciousness, we can call it soul or whatever, is just a particular expression of matter. And we need to find the ways to connect as thinking bodies with the surrounding environment. So, departing from that, Ilyenkov develops this idea, or tries to answer to another question that is of high urgency. What is human soul? What is that makes us human beings? And his answer is very, very radical. So he supposes that our humanity is not concentrated in our bodies. That's what makes us biologically human. That's what makes us species. But what makes us human is outside of our, what he called organic bodies. It is in the entire outer world. And then he called it inorganic human body, which includes everything. It includes natural environments, it includes built environments, it includes language, it includes everything that enables us to be human, or which means to connect with other humans and non-humans in this world or in this universe. So what makes us human is actually the process of connecting our organic bodies with inorganic body, with this entire outer environment. So this brings us to two important sort of critical moments of rethinking. The first one, that allows us to radically rethink our critical politics, let's put it like that. So what causes our unhappiness in simple terms is not our own bodies as we are used to perceive or believe. Yeah, being queer, being non-white, being of a particular social background, we always think that there is something wrong with our own body that prevents us from being happy. Yeah. The problem is that there is nothing wrong with any organic body whatsoever. The problem is that particular organic bodies cannot connect and therefore fully realize their humanity or human potential to the inorganic body. That's where the problem is. And if we want to change, or we want to make people happy, in simple terms, we need to create conditions for everyone to be able to connect the organic bodies with the inorganic body that is produced, again, by people, by entire humanity through our labor. We transform the natural world around us into something that becomes what I call the extremities, or Ilyenkov called extension of our bodies. And then the second point, the second critical point, so if we perceive everything that is outside of our bodies, not as something external, and even less so alien, but it's something that is just a continuation and extension of us, how would we treat the earth, the nature, the objects that we create, and even each other? If our whole life and humanity is concentrated there, that it's an extension of our body. If something violates our organic body, it causes pain. But so would happen if something happens to our inorganic body. If there is pain in any other body, if there is pain in any living body on the planet Earth, that would immediately affect us in our organic body because there is this intrinsic connection. So that's an invitation to completely change our understanding of, let's say, infrastructure. And it's not something that has to be just convenient or ergonomic. It is vital for our existence and thriving as human beings. It is an extension of us. How would we imagine then the built environment as a continuation of human body? I wish I could give you a very convenient answer. I don't, but I have some hint that I want to share with you. So for that, I think I still have time, right? So I will stop sharing and share it again. Just let me. So yeah, I have to share it from the internet. So this is a project by a friend of mine, an artist from St. Petersburg, Olga Zhitlina, who lives in Israel now. It's an old project, 2016 project called. She had a kind of an op-ed, a column on the then popular website, Open Space, called Agency of Utopian News, where she tried to exercise, kind of some sort of radical imagination. And this project is called The Right Not to Have Anything. And it's some sort of speculation about the city, and in that case, St. Petersburg, where the administration starts implementing a project that would enable people to live comfortably without having anything, without having an apartment. And there is a series of photographs that sort of kind of illustrate that. So she suggests that industrial zones of St. Petersburg that went through sort of the deindustrialization would not be gentrified as what would happen to them, but would be turned into these sort of infrastructures that would allow people to be homeless and to have dignity. So, I mean, these images are in a way very basic and naive, but they suggest this very radical, I think they contain a very radical proposition in line with Ilyenkovian thought. How would we imagine a city that is comfortable for all? How would we start imagining that? What is that all? What is the criterion that would make everyone happy? And the answer is that we need to identify the most vulnerable, the most alienated group of people or group of bodies from inorganic body. And if we live in the city that is comfortable, let's say for homeless, that would ultimately become a city that is comfortable for all. Because first of all, that the city that is comfortable for homeless would have available public toilets. So that everyone could just, go to the toilet every time. That obviously would be the city that would have public infrastructure such as laundry or, sort of public baths so that people can take shower. That would be the city that would have enough of public space where people can spend without spending money, without, buying anything. That could be a library, that could be a park, that could be something else so that the people could go. That definitely would be the city with developed public transportation. So that people can commute without using private cars. That would be the city where people could find food, either inexpensive or for free, where probably wouldn't be a food waste. So the food that wasn't purchased or bought in the restaurants or the supermarkets would be freely distributed through community kitchens. And ultimately, that would be a city where there would be homeless people, because such a notion would not exist. And everyone can enjoy a city with developed public transport and public spaces and infrastructure that allows you to be autonomous from the necessity to own and to consume. And this is my sort of radical invitation or radical proposition, to think of infrastructure as something that that can enable anyone to be fully human, to be able to connect with other humans and non-humans, and to approach infrastructure as something that should not inflict pain of any sort, but rather be something that allows us to organically expand and extend without suppressing, controlling, or subjugating. Because what we do, if we are to share Ilyenkovian insight, when we oppress or subject subjugate people, we inflict pain, not just on the others, we do inflict it on ourselves as well. Well, probably I stop here and I'm ready to answer questions, if any. And I hope that despite it being a little bit chaotic, the line of thought was traceable.